According to SeatGeek, the largest event ticket search engine on the internet, Las Vegas rock concerts dominate the live music scene. I'm not talking locally or regionally, I'm talking about the entire nation. In fact, their study showed that Las Vegas tops the list with 59 concerts per 100,000 residents, which is nearly 4 times the next closest market, Nashville, Tennessee. So joining me today, a man who is behind hundreds of those shows, Big Daddy Carlos, who owns Fremont Country Club and Backstage Bar and Billiards. How are you doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Great. Well, I know your entertainment career started long before you came here to Sin City, but how long have you been producing shows here in Las Vegas?
Well, my better half is, I like to say, the wife, Ava. Hello, my love. We've together, it's over 60 years of experience.
Wow.
We started when we were teenagers, pretty much.
Right.
But over 60 years of owning, producing, running nightclubs, restaurants, music venues, and so forth. Mm-hmm. So we do what we love, and we love what we do.
Right.
We're very blessed and fortunate, and we've been able to be part of the cultural renaissance that's been happening in downtown.
Yeah, you're right there in the heart. Absolutely.
It's a supply and demand of love, if you will. Mm-hmm. Years ago, when we acquired the property from the city, my partner Terry Cottle and my wife and I, the better half once again, we looked at what was happening with the lay of the land, and basically growing up in Hollywood and the music scene in Hollywood, you have the whiskey, you have the Roxy, you have the Troubadour, and this is what we saw that was missing from downtown Las Vegas specifically. Mm-hmm. If you're a national act and you're traveling and you can't sell out the House of Blues or the Hard Rock and so forth, well, a lot of times they would just skip the market. So that was the need for what had to be created. And like I said, with the socioeconomics of what's happening downtown and the subculture that we are bringing to culture, it was a vital necessity. Anytime you have any kind of a revolution, you know, with music and so forth, you have to have the venues, first of all, for those bands to come with.
And your 2 venues, you've got Fremont, which, what is your capacity? About 1,000 there,
About
correct?
1,000. So
and then Backstage, so you can accommodate the smaller crowd or the larger crowd.
And that's the beauty of it, exactly. Yeah. You can have the world-class experience in an intimate setting. Mm-hmm. So some of your favorite bands, you know, whether you'll see them, for example, some of the festivals that we do, you'll see the caliber of bands in front of 10,000 people. Yeah. The next night you'll be able to see them in front of 100, a couple hundred people, or 1,000 people, but it creates that experience that has been long lost, and not being able to partake in that because of what has not been created in Vegas that we've been part of and that we have created within the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. Well, Punk Rock Bowling was just in town for Memorial Weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that what 21st year for that.
Correct.
So what do festivals like that mean for your clubs?
Well,
and the scene downtown?
Well, everything, absolutely everything, because it adds to the subculture that is creating culture, which is what we're doing. The Stern brothers have just done an amazing job. And not to sound self-absorbed, because we're part of it, but it literally is one of the best festivals you will ever go to in your life. And I say that from traveling the world and going to, you know, more festivals than I can count. Yeah. But what they've done basically is you have that large scale, you know, experience where you're in an audience of 10,000 people watching the main stage. And then, example, if you went to Coachella and after the event was over, then they kind of commandeered the town and showcased those same caliber of bands in the local music venues as well too. So the party continues all night long for 5 days. But what you have is the best of both. And the beauty of punk rock bowling, though, even it's punk rock bowling, it should be called just the world's greatest music festival, because it not only incorporates punk rock bowling, but when the first and second wave of punk rock started, you had a lot of the ska bands and the reggae bands and the rockabilly bands, and that's what the Sterns were genius in doing. What they created, what they brought to the table was those other elements as well. So for example, you'll go see Iggy Pop, or they share the Hives, but then you'll see the Specials, and then you'll see the Dead Boys, but then you'll see Scarnales or Vienna's 13, which are some of the top Latin ska bands in the world. So it's just a dichotomy of what's presented, and it's so robust, you know.
It is robust. And speaking of the different genres, Las Vegas Deathfest is happening this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's going on right now.
We pride ourselves on the fact that 601 Fremont, FCC, and Triple B is the only location that has more festivals than any other music venue in Las Vegas. And we just finished Punk Rock Bowling, and now we're starting the Deathfest, which is a specific genre of metal and screamo and so forth.
Absolutely.
54 bands playing in the next 3 days, so come on down.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do for the music scene and keeping it alive and thriving here in Las Vegas. We appreciate it. All right, catch the world's most brutal bands at Las Vegas Deathfest this weekend at Fremont Country Club and Backstage Bar and Billiards. For tickets, head to the website on your screen. Dollar Loan Center is a proud sponsor of the Morning Blend and this week's Rock Block.